Welcome to the Leftover Culture Review Halloween month. A month of thrills, chills, and just watching me playing really awesome video games. A system that we've totally neglected here on the Leftover Culture Review is the NES. Truth is, I missed out on the NES. It wasn't until the Game Boy that I even heard the name Nintendo. Before that point, it was all Atari and Sega for me. I know, right? Halloween episode, and I'm already making you feel uneasy. So this is the first time we've ever really celebrated Halloween on the Leftover Culture Review. We just don't do it down under. But this year, we've made preparations. Spooky preparations. I've always loved the horror stuff. The one game I was most bummed about missing on the NES has to be Castlevania. It is hyper easy to get excited about a game that lets you blaze through a castle, taking out classic movie monsters. You didn't need complex controls or heaps of weapons to make these games awesome. It was a perfect blend of platforming and action. With perfect timing, you can be totally lethal with just your whip. Konami never actually made a Castlevania game for the Master System. That's our cross to bear. We missed out. But there was a game that took a lot of cues from the Castlevania series. It took a few extra years, but we got Master of Darkness instead. And by a few extra years, I'm saying Super Castlevania 4 was already out in the States, when we were getting this thing here on the Master System. But was it worth the wait? Well, yeah, of course. This is as close to Castlevania as the Master System can get, until Bloodlines for the Mega Drive. But if we take those 16-bit consoles out of the picture, Master of Darkness is an incredible game on a system that I feel was particularly neglected, partly because of Nintendo's licensing policies. We've got the threat of Dracula looming over us from the very beginning. Dr. Social has got his work cut out for him as he whisks himself through the dark underbelly of Victorian England, tracking the dark presence that's corrupting, controlling, and threatening civilized society. There's a bunch of particularly gentlemanly weapons, like a walking stick and a handgun, as well as an axe to rip through the forces of evil. And a whole bunch of animals. Seems like whenever Dracula is on the prowl, doctors can't help but get involved. And there's plenty of stages here as well. Well, there's 5 levels, but each is broken into 2 stages. The biggest question will probably be, yeah, sure, it looks okay, but what would make me pull this game out instead of Castlevania? Probably the fact you're not stuck in a castle. It's Halloween. Cut back on the drab castles, feel that spooky wind in your hair, and beat animals to death in the fresh air. There's some real charm to these 8-bit graphics that tie in really closely to a time when Halloween was a bit more magical. This is the only 8-bit Halloween game we have on the cards for October, but it really felt necessary to have one game from that era, and the Master of Darkness feels like it was born in the same dark pit as Castlevania. I have to admit, I love the simplicity of Castlevania's graphics, but Master of Darkness feels bigger in every respect. Bigger sprites, more details, and more animation. Master of Darkness is a great way to get all fired up for Halloween month, and it's not a game that your mum can complain about too much. So the Master System isn't a console that's going to be on the forefront of everyone's minds over Halloween, especially when there's actual Nintendo consoles with actual Castlevania games. But Master of Shadows is a fantastic game for an underappreciated system, alongside a fantastic version of Ghouls and Ghosts, and the always tempting, breathtaking spookfest that is Basketball Nightmare. You could have a pretty interesting Halloween lineup, but if your plan for Halloween is a Master System, don't bother inviting me. Master of Darkness is a great place to start, but Halloween month will go on. Next week, we're unveiling the horror in full motion video.